Welcome to your Optimal Personal Economy podcast with Justin Bennett. Your personal economy is your ability to create, protect, preserve, and utilize your wealth, your financial world. Justin will share strategies and stories to help you optimize your personal economy. Now, on to the show with Justin Bennett and co-host Matt Halloran.
Hello and welcome to another podcast with Justin Bennett. There's been a lot of talk recently about how important it is for your financial services professional to have a conversation about being a good steward of your family's wealth. We're going to talk to Justin and ask him some questions today about how he approaches his families of wealth and how the conversation ensures that the amount of not just wealth, but also values are going to be passed on to generations past them. So, Justin, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Matt. How you doing?
I am doing really well. It is an absolutely beautiful day here, and I'm really excited to pick your brain on this because I know that you work with higher net worth families, and this is kind of a big deal to them, isn't it?
It is, and I think this topic of money is oftentimes looked at as like a taboo subject, and it's like, don't talk about it. And I'm not exactly sure if I agree with that, frankly, because I think what my experience has been is that as a result of talking about money, it leads people to want to learn more and become more aware. And quite frankly, they start to respect money. And I think that's where oftentimes younger adults might see a breakdown is if there's a lack of respect to money.
If the conversation isn't had, then any of those sorts of issues, the respect of the money, the appreciation of the money, the appreciation of the hard work that the matriarch and patriarch or the family have put in, is quite absent. And there has been some good research that has shown that not having that conversation means that the wealth is not going to be able to be transferred on to, especially like the grandkids of the matriarch and the patriarch. So how do you begin this conversation with your clients so that they'll have the conversation with their kids?
Yeah. And by the way, I don't know that it's so much the money itself that people need to, kind of become aware of and respect as much as it is what the money will provide and do for families. That is the most important thing, right? Because the money is just the currency. It's just the exchange to which we utilize to create what's most important, which is the value system that we stand for, which oftentimes is care and love back to people in our world, whether it be spouse, kids, or grandkids, right? So, sometimes it gets, very easy to get caught up in the money itself, but I'm not exactly sure if the value system is inside the money, but rather it's what can be provided as a result of the money. And I think that's a main conversation. So when my wife and I talk to our children, or I start to talk to clients over the years to better understand how they talk to their children, or in a lot of cases we find ourselves over the last, call it 7 or 8 years, doing a lot of planning among the generations of the clients we serve. So a lot of times it's son and daughter, and then they're asking us to sit with their mom and dad, and in some cases they're asking us to sit with their children. So it could be 2 or 3 generations that we're, doing planning for. And it is very interesting just to kind of see how people look at money and how one generation has talked with the other generation and shared wisdom and experience and knowledge based on their experiences that the upcoming generation can then, utilize and form into their own understanding. I think the big thing is like, it's very easy to also get twisted in between working hard, and as a result of working hard, you generate success, and part of that success is measured by dollars and cents, right? And I think that's the conversation that my wife and I are having versus hey, this costs $1 million, or this costs 500,000, this costs 10,000, this costs 1,000, right? Because that I don't know what that's doing at the core system of our kids or the people that we're talking to. So to understand how to produce the money, which then in turn creates the experiences and the results that people want, I think is very, very important.
I hear through all of that you're talking about a values based discussion, right? Not just value of the money and how hard it is to get there, but also the values based. When you're talking to your clients, especially the wealthier clients, are they able to pull out their values quickly? Like there's something that's core to them as a human. And when you talk to your kids, do you do the same sort of thing, or are Justin Bennett and your family's values like kind of right on the surface there?
It's to me and to us, wealthy is not just measured by dollars and cents.
Mhm.
So when you refer to wealthy, Matt, we see wealthy and successful as being a description to somebody that's fulfilled in all domains in their life, not just the money domain. So they're exercising well, they have good relationships, they're authentic back to themselves, which allows them to be authentic to others. I think a lot of people are not authentic back to themselves, which then creates a very, very difficult time to be authentic to others. But wealthy and successful is when you're really in a good place from a mindset. Your inner game is dialed in, and I think from there, you're making valuable money decisions, which oftentimes are not centered around you, but rather others and people that you care for, people that are looking to you to help them. And because ultimately, isn't success and wealth when you start to get to a point you're playing this game where you realize that life is a lot bigger than you, but it's a hard place to get to, and then it's a hard game to play, and then it's even a tougher game to stay there.
Absolutely. It is a harder game to play. It is definitely harder to stay there. What are the biggest objections or what are the biggest concerns that you hear from your clients, if there is any resistance at all about having this further family based conversation?
So I think sometimes people, potential clients and existing clients, haven't had this type of conversation either among themselves, like spouse to spouse, spouse to kids, or I should say mom and dad to kids. So they haven't had it before, so they're fearful of how the conversation is going to sound and what's going to unfold. But sometimes it gives people the ability to better gather their thoughts and strengthen their values and what they believe in and how they want to then position their planning and their money and their behavior and their mindset around what's most important to them. So I think it leads to a lot of refreshing and favorable outcomes that people maybe would not have otherwise received. But there's definitely trepidation because it's a unique conversation. It could be perceived as like hokey or, like I said, kind of taboo, but
Mhm.
or hey, I just don't understand the question or the situation, or I don't understand what you're saying. But there's no right or wrong. So it's just a matter of getting people to talk about really what's important to them. And once you hear what's important to people, then you could really get to some meaningful planning, and you can start to see some people, at least the people that we hang with, both personally and professionally, they they're not driven and focused on themselves as much as they're focused on others.
Mhm. Well,
And I
and
think
when you're
that's a value right there, right?
yeah, when you're doing this planning, the kind of planning that you do with your clients, it just seems to me, and I could be wrong here, Justin, so correct me if I am, that level of conversation with a real planner, with a person who wants to get to know you and do what's right for your family, both professionally and financially and personally and spiritually and with health and all of the things that I know that you touch on. These are the sorts of things that come up in the conversation. Can you give us an example, maybe, of one of the clients that you've had this level of conversation with, to so that our listeners can maybe glean just a little bit and say, "Oh my gosh, that's me."
Yeah, I think sometimes people have limiting belief systems that leads to the thought process that if they get to some future point in time where they're going to stop working, that they have to make this decision to either maximize their income or leave money behind. So this becomes like a scarcity mindset. It's a limited belief system. It has to be one or the other, either maximize income or leave money behind. And the work that we do with our clients is clearly demonstrated by that. It's not an either or, but rather it's a both. So we're able to show our clients that they can maximize income and simultaneously know with high levels of certainty that there's going to be money that's going to be left behind. So it's not a scarcity either or belief system, but rather an abundant both type of mindset. And that oftentimes resonates with the people that it's going to resonate with, and we seem to find ourselves attracting them and they attract us, and it works well.
I love the fact that you just brought up the whole idea of abundance and that you can have both. And with proper planning, you can see and show how you can have both. Now, what else? What should I have asked you, Justin? We've kind of gone back and forth on this sort of stuff. What should our audience know a little bit more about talking to family, about being responsible stewards, and also making sure that they're passing on more than just their money?
Yeah, I just think that, the ability to initiate conversation is oftentimes tough, but it's a very, very critical and important conversation. And it helps people realize that, life's not about things as much as it's about experiences. And the more experiences that can be generated and created, as opposed to things that can be obtained, allows for more memories to be had, and more memories to be had allows for more excitement, more joy, more happiness. And I think that just leads to the ability and the desire to want to do the same thing for the next generation. So I think we have to do that by leading by example, right? We have to create our own experiences and create experiences for others, and do that more so than trying to obtain things, which is very easy to do, and it's very difficult to focus on the experiential aspect of life.
Tangible things go away, but experiences are one of those things that you hold near and dear forever.
No doubt. Absolutely.
Well, Justin, thank you very much for having this very, very important conversation with our audience today.
Thanks, Matt. It was great talking.
Now, if you know somebody who needs to have this level of conversation with an advisor, please make sure that you reach out to everybody at bennettfg.com. Or all you have to do is type in your optimal personal economy into a web search, and it will show up immediately. So for everybody at Justin Bennett's firm, and for all of us here, we'll see you on the other side of the mic very soon.
Justin Bennett is a registered representative of Park Avenues Securities, LLC, or PAS. OSJ 1150 Raritan Road, Suite 201, Cranford, New Jersey, 07016. Phone number 908-709-0020. Securities products are offered through PAS, member of FINRA SIPC. Financial representative of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. New York, New York. PAS is an indirect wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. Bennett Financial Group LLC is not an affiliate or a subsidiary of PAS or Guardian.